Continued. Many believe that the main quality of a person is intelligence. Others believe that the most necessary is willpower, or the ability to concentrate for a long time. But in order to change the physical world with the power of thought, other qualities are needed. Imagine an object. Other people do not see it, because it is in your personal universe. Since the personal universe is part of the physical one, it means that the imaginary object really exists in a part of the physical world. And it reflects light, otherwise you would not be able to see it. When someone raises their hand, they create a flow of electrochemical impulses in the muscles with the power of their mind. That is, a person makes changes in the physical universe with only the pure power of their thought, otherwise they would not be able to interact with it. Maybe these changes are too weak. But the fact itself is important. Sorcerers try to strengthen this ability through training, using magical rituals. But there is an easier way to force the server to turn a thought into real changes immediately. If a person makes an unexpected, spontaneous movement in space, the server will not have time to download updates to the brain, and the person will see a lot of strange things. But what if a person directs his attention to such parts of space, information about which is not available in our universe at all? Imagination has no limits. A person may want to know what is in the shortest possible part of space, inside the Planck length. How a quark is structured. What happens during the shortest possible period, inside the Planck time. What is outside 3 dimensions and far beyond the universe. What the world was like before it appeared. What is inside a black hole. What will remain when everything ceases to exist. What will the world be like when the mind changes it an infinite number of times? A person cannot look into these areas directly. But he can draw conclusions about their structure by their influence on more visible parts. By the way they create structure and determine the properties of more tangible matter. A person can imagine them with his imagination, create scientific hypotheses and describe them with mathematical models. In this case, the server will have to create the missing parts. And for this it has 2 ways. The first is to make a compilation based on already known parts, just like artificial intelligence creates its works. But when a person looks at such areas that have no similarities at all, the server will create them based on people's ideas. That is, people in this case will actually create the physical world with the power of their thoughts alone. It is impossible to make a solid object with the mind. But you can make a structure that goes beyond reality. And it can create a reality with a solid object. Scientists study the world and describe the existing state of affairs. But where is the guarantee that they do not create it with the help of their theories? Are you absolutely sure that in the real world, mass and time depend on speed, and a solid particle is in several places at the same time and behaves like a wave? That this was the case before scientists came up with their crazy theories? In the famous scientific experiment of 2 slits, a particle sometimes behaves like a particle, and sometimes like a wave, depending on the method of observation. Multi-reality arises under the influence of different ideas of different researchers. If someone creates an object in his imagination, other people will not see it. Because he will create it in his universe. But what if a person creates an imaginary object not in his own universe, but in the universe of another person? To do this, you just need to see someone else's world. The way people who have hypnosis do it. This is difficult to do, including because of the large difference in perceptions. If 2 people describe an object with the same words and react the same way, this does not mean that they see the same thing. If you see red as red, then another can see it as yellow. People see the same objects, but the perceptions of these objects can differ infinitely. Such a difference could have formed at the earliest stages of the formation of the world. And it was created precisely so that one person could not see the universe of another. The most valuable qualities are fantasy and imagination. If they do not help create solid objects, then at least they will improve the ability to see the world through someone else's eyes. And also to foresee the future and make money.